Hi. How do you take care of yourself when you feel overwhelmed? How do you manage yourself in a day-to-day world where you need to be consistent, but you're human and a part of the human experience is being inconsistent? I'm Ashley Adamson and welcome to Tea Time. It's your girl, Ashley Adamson. I just wanted to say that because one of y'all left a comment asking me to say that. Shout out to Cutie Yuri for asking for that. If you want another way for me to greet you, I'm more than happy to do those, so I'm taking requests now. This has been a week where I've really been contemplating overwhelmedness. This Tea Time series started as just a spontaneous thing that I just did on one day, and then I did it again, and I did it again, and then I started doing it every day, and now we're 3 weeks into it, and it's starting to become overwhelming for me. And Instagram was overwhelming for me, and so I disabled my account, and I just kind of came here to focus all my energy. And now I'm getting to that same kind of point where I'm feeling like that need to pull back. And it's been causing me to ask some questions about myself, and maybe some questions that might be worth asking yourself, which is, what's the mental approach to doing the things that can sometimes make you not want to do them? I know it's easy to think about those things in relation to maybe like your day job where you may not want to go into work. But what about those things that you do that used to fill your cup that may no longer do that? Are there like things in your life where you started doing it for one reason, but now you're just doing it for another reason and it doesn't feel so good? I think that's something that's been going on for me as I've been progressing through making these videos, is now this process has begun to mean something else to me that it didn't previously. Has that ever happened to you? Have you caught yourself in a different state for doing something than what you originally set out for? This is sort of this fork in the road for me of how I understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And I've been contemplating the past few days as I've been able to take some space because I've been releasing other videos on like, why has this become overwhelming? Because when I originally started, this was really exciting to talk to you, to connect with you, to share thoughts, to share experiences, to hear your voice, and to be able to respond to that. That's something that I love. I love that. So why has this become another thing that creates my sense of being overwhelmed? And I've come up with coping mechanisms and tactics and things to do. When you have a problem in life, you kind of jump to certain solutions and they start to work, but oftentimes they're sort of like tape. Like you can tape the solution together, but it's not lasting. It doesn't last forever. It's just a temporary fix. I feel like these past few days, I've found some temporary fixes, but none of them have really stuck. And I contemplated on this morning as I was approaching this video, thinking, oh God, like I really don't want to make a video, and not because I don't want to connect with the community here. It's that I'm afraid. I'm afraid of losing the connection, and I'm afraid of doing that by not doing a good video, by not performing well for you, by creating something that doesn't have any value in the content that I'm creating, and is not getting the viewership, is not getting the subscriptions, is not getting the exposure, and I'll just do poorly at it, and all these negatives and. And it's snowballed, it like creeped up on me, and it's just snowballed into like a full-on, like having anxiety about doing something like this. Do you ever get anxiety around that? Like around doing things where you feel like you have to do it, or you've been thinking about it so much that now it becomes this really big, grand thing that you're like frightened of? Like you have to take the test tomorrow or something. Gosh. And so, why should I be doing something that's not making me happy, that's not making me fulfilled? I'm doing this because I love doing it. So why has it become something that's scary to me? And so I took a step back and I contemplated and I sat and I've been meditating and I've been practicing all sorts of different techniques to kind of help me get through this. And what I realize is it comes down to this for me. It comes down to being afraid that I'll lose you. Yeah. That being afraid that I'll lose this little community, this beautiful little thing, this little jewel in the world that can be so frightening. Getting emotional. This little piece that brings me joy. And now it's like when you have something that feels special to you, you're afraid of losing it. You know, like the most obvious version of this is people you love. You know, your family, if you have a partner, your friends, you're afraid of losing that at some point because it's so special to you. And so for me, I think it's become so special to me that now I'm afraid of losing it. And so I'm now motivated to create videos, not to just share and create, but because I'm afraid of losing the community, afraid of losing the connection. And this is, you know, when you verbalize it, it's just dumb. Have you ever written down some of your negative thoughts? Have you ever spoken about some of the things that you're afraid of? And as the words leave your mouth, you're just like, this is the dumbest thing. Why would I ever be afraid of this? Right? And that's my fear. And I'm putting that, out there for you to see that that's my fear. That's what has been creating anxiety for me recently. It's not that it's just making videos. It's that I have so many things attached to that, attached to fear of losing the connection, fear of not being consistent, fear of not getting enough views, fear of not getting enough subscriptions, all of these little data pieces that shouldn't really matter and don't really matter. But in a world where you can start measuring things, it becomes a lot easier to start measuring yourself. Yeah, that's a deep one. Just think about the like button. Think about all the ways that these metrics exist in our world now. Your text messages, etc. It's like there's now this implicit value measurement system that we can get pulled into. How are you with that? I feel like I've been pulled into the measurement system, and I like measurement because it feels like you can make progress, and that feels very rewarding. But it's a double-edged sword, because now if you don't get enough numbers, then you don't get the reward, and so you get the inverse of that. That was probably the greatest lesson that I've ever learned since I've transitioned, is when you get something, you also get the opposite of that thing. By stepping into your truth, you get more people that resonate with you because you are being true. But at the same time, you're getting more people who are negative towards you because you're also being true. Or by embracing beauty, I'm also embracing the opposite, which is ugliness, the fear of being ugly, because I'm also celebrating beauty. Beauty by its definition also avoids ugliness. It's a quandary or a paradox. And, I wonder where in your life you've found this paradox and how you've worked with it. Because obviously we don't really want to just be taking these equal trade-offs. We want to be making decisions where the trade-offs are better, where it makes us happier. And for me, transitioning was a great decision. It was the best decision of my life, and something that was so worth it. So worth it. So coming back to this feeling of being overwhelmed, the answer has been stop coming at it from this fear of scarcity, this fear of losing, and come at it from the angle of creating, which is what I was originally here for, what I'm originally doing, just to create. And that it's not about trying to not lose something, it's about trying to create something. It's about creating community. It's about continuing to create community. And so I wear this nice little little fun little thing here, not because I'm actually going to wear it for the rest of my day, but this is what came to me. I was like, what am I going to wear for feeling like I want to create? And so this is my creative expression today for you, is to create. So that's my little spiel. Now we're on to goals, because we need to check in. We set goals this week, and some of you did, and I have taken note of them. So I'm going to call you out now, and I would love to hear from you, to hear how you did on them. So let me just pull them up. My personal goal was to work on loneliness, but that I think got totally hit with being overwhelmed. And so I shifted into focusing on being overwhelmed and how to work through that, because I'm actually not feeling too lonely right now. I'm feeling okay. So that's a good thing. And my learnings I just shared with you about being overwhelmed. Okay, so here's my list. Krugos, your goal this week was finishing one of your works that's in progress. Let me know how it went. Rachel, your focus was doing voice training and focusing more on feminization. Jordan, your goal was to apply to Starbucks. I hope that you did. Bernice, you were to spend more time with the kind voice inside your head and to shrug off the misgendering. I hope you're doing well with that. And Joanna was to spend more time with your significant other and make space to talk about their needs and wishes. So let me know how those goals went. Those are all great and wonderful goals. And if you didn't hit them, that's totally fine. That's totally okay. We don't always get our goals. They're just flags for us to rally our attention and to move towards. But if you didn't get it, just let me know why. And that can help you kind of contemplate why you missed it. You know, is it an excuse that you're making up, or is it really just a legitimate reason why you couldn't get around to it? And not to beat yourself up if you can't get it, just to really, ask the question, is this a goal worth doing? Maybe it's not worth doing it, or maybe I can do another one. And if you want to have the same goal next week, then you can totally do that too. I shifted goals. So please check in with me and let me know what your goal is for next week. We will check in next Friday as usual. Thank you for seeing me today. I'm really glad to see you. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.